Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure?
It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I don't have a camera this morning, and I'm not sure why. I've been sitting here trying to get the camera to load or the software to recognize it, and for some reason, it's not doing it. So I'm not sure what the issue is. So we're just going to be cameraless this morning. I thought about going with the auxiliary camera, but it just does not pick up very well. The document camera does great for the desk, but not so great for a secondary camera. So we don't really need it. So we're just going right here. We'll be looking at old school essentials today. I'll try to get that fixed soon. So I have been a little bit out of communication. I know I've been working really hard on getting ready. I do want to launch the cultists, and I'm guessing I'm on the Kickstarter, and I like to do it in about 2 weeks. So I've been kind of really focused on that project. So I hadn't been getting together table talk live streams because I have been working on just cultist stuff and trying to wrap up a lot of videos that I wanted to do that had to do with season 1 that kind of never got done. And I've been scheduling them to go out, on Wednesday nights. I've been putting out Brianna's director's commentary. I never got to finish producer's commentary of that show. So I've been working on making producer's commentary and scheduling those just because I wanted to. A long time ago, I made like 5 of them, and then I never got to make the other 5. And I was like, if it's ever going to happen, now's the time. So I started working. I've been working on that, and I have another. Um, I decided that the any type of serious Cthulhu adaptation there was no time for, but I had another idea, which I guess I will talk about Sunday with regard to something to do maybe when I have a camera, with regard to the cultists and something fun to do with its RPG. And so I've been working on that as well. So that's what I've been working on over the past, I don't know, week or weekend, or really 2 weeks, really. All of my time's been going to that because I really want to do that project, do it, finish it, and then move on, because there's a whole bunch of other projects I want to do as well. But I was like, hey, this is time for all of this to get finished. And so that's what I've been working on. And I guess we'll talk more about that Sunday. So that's what's happening. So, hey, Joel, good morning. Good morning. Here we go. What is going on here? There we go. Joel, good morning. Good morning, Brett. And good morning, Michael. Good to see you. So, hope everybody is doing well. It is definitely cold where I am. I'm here in Alabama, but I think actually the snow went south of me. I was expecting to wake up yesterday to snow, and there was no snow here. It's just very cold, not even getting above freezing, which is very unusual here. But actually, didn't the snow go south of us? I was seeing some pictures of like Montgomery or even Florida. Of course, no idea what's true. Go by on social media, be like, hey, look, this is Florida. So the snow may have actually gone south. Hey, Matt. Matt says, good afternoon from the UK. Good afternoon to you as well in the UK. So I guess we will take a look at more of the, Joel says -6. Whoa. That's significantly colder than here, but -6 here where I am this morning, Joel says. So let's see. So we'll talk more about the cultists. I'm rebuilding some of the Kickstarter page. Just started. That's big. That's a big upcoming project. I'm going to finish editing some video. I wanted to do a behind the scenes video with all of the photography that we took. I went back and I found a bunch of the photos from the Cultist season 1 that we took, and I started organizing those in order to put into a video. So I am. So that's so I'm working on that too, because if there's ever a time, it's time to wrap that up, and then, like I said, move on to other projects, because there are tons of projects to do. So the plan is to launch that in basically 2 weeks, but more update on Sunday. Okay, good morning, Better with Bacon. Oh yeah, okay, so that's confirmed. North Florida had over 4 inches. Luckily, I'm here in Central Florida. That's insane. So it came south of where I am. Wow. Hey, PH. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so let's go and take a look at old school fantasy. I'm sitting here with my drink here. Let's breathe and sip. I've got water this morning. I need to make coffee, but I just needed some water here. Oh, I'm talking about the Cultists Kickstarter. I want to do that in about 2 weeks. So if you're just coming in, I want to do that in about 2 weeks. That's what I've been working on, rather than doing like the table talks and things like that. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm going to be focused on that, quite a bit, all of my additional time. All right, so let's go ahead and breathe and sip. I may end up having to get some more water here, but let's breathe and sip, and then we'll talk about the OSE right here. I found where it talks about the differences between those two classes, list of classes, and the classes where you use the races as well. So let's breathe and sip. Here we go. 2 deep breaths. And sip. There we go. Let's see. Brett says, I just uploaded my first video ever. Oh, we got to check that out. So go over to Brett's channel. Just uploaded my first video ever, Hamilton Homes Realty. I don't know how you do it. So time consuming. It is. And I have a whole bunch of videos that are still like clips and things that have not been able to go out yet. Also, making the thumbnails is time consuming. Like I was making thumbnails from my producer's commentary. The producer's commentary I'm putting out on Fridays. I'm not going to do them as a premiere. I've still got to reach out to a couple of people I want to do watch parties with for the cultists. But Fridays on the cultist channel at noon Central Time, my producer's commentary will be coming out for the next 10 weeks. I'll release one of them a week. So, but yeah, and that's why also this year I'm focused on just the important video creations that I really want to make. I really want to get to the next Rabavania video. But that requires art and things like that. And I keep being chomping at the bit to do things like that. But then I'm like, no, I got to finish. Let's finish the cultists, then move on. So that's what I've been working on. All right. So old school essentials here. We were talking about the relationship between character classes here and the character races. And I found what I was looking for, and it was kind of easy to overlook. But let's go here to character creation options. Okay, character creation options. Okay, so here's where it describes this, although it's not terribly obvious. So it says this book presents two methods for character creation, one in the style of the basic expert game and the other in the style of the advanced game. So basic character creation, using this method, an adventurer's primary abilities are determined by a single factor, the chosen character class. Character race, the character class chosen by the player also determines the character's race. Unless a demi-human class is selected, the character is human. So, I mean, we knew that. But basically, it seems like the way this book is organized then, that our character classes right here. Yes, character classes. If you're just playing with them, character classes are basically an expanded list of what's in the original OSE or what's in the basic OSE. So you can just play basic OSE with them. But if you're like, hey, I want some additional classes, yes, you can do that. Here's your expanded list of classes. This is, race as class, etc., acrobat through thief. And of course, it looks like we said that we got the cleric, and the ones that were in the original are also here. So this looks like just an expanded list of character classes if you're playing that way. Whereas if you go to the advanced character creation, you do this out of order. We were reading through the book, went through the character classes first, and then to the character races. But it says under advanced character creation, you would go through it in a different order. Using this method, an adventurer's primary abilities are determined by two factors, their race and their class, both chosen separately. Selecting multiple classes may also be allowed. Separate race and class. Instead of just choosing a character class, players separately choose a race and a class. Separating the abilities granted by a character's class and race leads to much wider range of character possibilities. For example, rather than being simply an elf, a character may be a elf fighter, elf thief, etc. Wait, so where was I reading this? Okay, this is multi-classing right here. Each group must choose what character creation. Well, wait a minute. But I was reading someplace where it tells you if you're doing advanced character creation, select your race first. Did I just skip over that? I thought it was in here explaining where this was. Well, now I can't find it. So, but so actually, if you're going through advanced character creation, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to select your race first. So that's second in this in the book as far as organization goes. But you select your race first, and then the race points back to certain classes. that are in the previous chapter of that. So, we were talking about how do these things interact with each other when you've got the classes race that's drow, but you also have the race that's drow. If you're doing advanced character creation, just skip right to the race section first. That's the one that you do. That's the one that you choose first. The race has a list of classes that points back to that previous chapter, and you just use the ones that are pointed to by the particular race that you've got. I hope that makes sense. I thought I read that. I went, oh, using this. I thought it was someplace in here yesterday that it specifically told you go choose your race first. I swear I read that. We will see. Better with Bacon says, so I can't. So can I multi-class if race is class? So can I multi-class if race is class? Can I be a level 5 elf? No. I wonder if surely it tells you that too, right? You would think it would actually say something about, well, no, this is a race class or this is something else. Anyway, so that being the fact that I can't even find it again right now tells you it's a little bit buried. I think I would have been more explicit in that. But if you're doing the advanced creation, you go through the book in a different order. So where were we? I think we had looked at Dugar? Yeah, we just looked at these really cool characters. Oh, I think we might have actually been right there. I don't think we had looked at Dugar yet. And then the dwarf. Okay, so the dwarf's probably the same as the original book that we looked at in the beginning, and probably the elf as well. What do we do with Dugar here? Do we need to look at them? We can probably skip through some of this. They get detect traps. They do get enlargement. I thought I was just scrolling by here. Once per day per level, a Dugar may activate one of the following mental powers. The Dugar's body, clothing, and armor, but not other equipment, double in size for 1d4 rounds. When enlarged, the Dugar's melee attacks inflict double damage. And they can also shrink. Dwarf, we've looked at that because I'm sure that was in the original one. Elf, we've looked at this one. Now, this one is also, because this was from the original, but this is also, there's a variant elf that's in one of the magazines that is more like a, more like a Sylvan elf. So this is kind of like a high elf fighter mage is basically this version of elf. If crossed, they are dangerous enemies as they are masters of both sword and spell. But if you want a Mirkwood Sylvan elf, that's in the e-zine. All right, fighter. We've been through fighter here. Gnome. I think gnome is new. Let's see. Gnomes have the uncanny ability to disappear from sight. In woodland cover, a gnome can hide with a 90% chance of success. In dungeons, a gnome can hide in shadows or behind other forms of cover. A chance of success is 2 in 6. Hiding requires the gnome to be motionless. So how do they interpret half-elf as class? Half-elves are the rare offspring of elves and humans. Physically, they tend to combine the best features of their parents, having the innate beauty of elves and the robust physique of humans. They are human-like in stature, but always have a feature that marks their elven heritage. Pointed ears or unusually bright eyes. Half-elves are skilled fighters and dabble with magic, though they lack their elvish parents' mastery of the arcane. So minimum charisma 9, minimum con 9, intelligence and strength are prime requisites. A D6 hit die. Any weapons, any armor. From second level, half-elves gain the ability to cast arcane spells, owning a spell book in which the magical formulae for these spells are known to be recorded. The level progression table opposite shows both the number of spells in the half-elf spell book and the number that may be memorized, determined by the character's experience level. Thus, a second-level half-elf has one spell in their spell book, selected by the referee, who may allow the player to choose. The list of spells available to half-elves is found on page 119. They have the same spell selection as magic users. They can also use scrolls and items. They have find secret doors, infravision, and they can create a stronghold. A half-elf may strive to become a leader among humans or among elves, constructing a stronghold either in the name of a human liege or in the deep forests of the elves. So you can, so this, it's kind of like, I guess this is the idea of, or perhaps hints at the Tolkien idea of the elves choosing. So if you go human stronghold, the half-elf may build a castle or stronghold and control the surrounding lands. A character may be granted a title such as Baron or Baroness. The land under the half-elves' control is then known as a barony. Hey, good morning, RPG Gen Exile. Hey, if you're here, by the way, just coming in, for some reason my camera is not connecting to my software today. I have no idea why, so that's why we just went without a camera. Elven stronghold. The half-elf may construct a stronghold in the depths of the forest, blending in with the natural environment of a site with great beauty. For example, in the treetops beside a serene valley, hidden behind a waterfall. Definitely sounds Rivendell-like. Whatever material it's made of, the construction costs as much as a similar work in stone due to the exquisite quality of the craftsmanship involved. Once the construction is complete, elves will come to live under the rule of the character. Forest animals within a 5-mile radius of the completed stronghold will become friends with the elves. They may warn of intruders, carry messages, news, and so on. In exchange for friendship, the half-elf must protect the animals from harm. The ruler of an elven stronghold may only hire elven mercenaries. Specialists and retainers of any race may be hired. If you're just a plain elf, what is your stronghold like? Elf. After reaching 9th level, an elf may construct a stronghold in the depths of the forest, blending in with the natural environment of a site of great beauty. Very similar here. Forest creatures become your friends. Yeah, okay. So you get to choose, basically. If you're the half-elf. Very similar. Halfling. I think we looked at this one because you get to become a sheriff. Like when we looked at the original. In a stronghold, anytime a half-elf wishes and has sufficient money, they may build a stronghold, which will form the basis of a new community of halflings. Halfling communities known as shires are typically located in gentle countryside of little rivers and rolling hills. The leader of a community is called a sheriff. They in woods or undergrowth, the halfling can hide with a 90% chance of success. So they get they're similar to the gnome in that regard. Half-orc. So half-orc, D6. So is this going to be like the barbarian kind of like here? Half-orcs are the rare offspring of orcs and humans. They're human-like in stature and appearance, but usually have at least one feature that marks their orcish heritage, like fangs or a pig-like snout. Due to the common animosity between orcs and humans, half-orcs are typically outcast from both of their parents' cultures, living on the fringe of society and making a living by whatever means they can. Half-orc adventurers are capable of combatants who have some skill as thieves. So their dex and strength for prime requisites. No requirements, though. Leather, chainmail, shields. They do have infravision. That seems rather common here, which is, of course, something that Shadow Dark removed. Infravision for monsters only. Retainers. Half-orcs often have difficulty gaining the trust of humans and demi-humans due to the orcs' chaotic tendencies. Retainers in the half-orcs employ have their loyalty score reduced by 1. This does not apply to retainers who are also half-orcs. So they get thief skills. They get hide in shadows, move silently, and pick pockets. So yeah, there are like bandits in this. A half-orc can establish a bandit stronghold, attracting 2d6 apprentices. First-level fighters, thieves, or half-orcs. These apprentices will serve the character with some reliability. However, should any of them be arrested or killed, The PC will not be able to attract apprentices to replace them. A successful half-orc might use this followers to start a thieves guild. Okay, illusionist. Now this also harkens back to AD&D. There was a time there when illusionist was something different from the mage or the magic user, right? So illusionist requirements minimum DX 9. The gnome illusionist being very classic. I think I played one of those before. Did I? It may have been very briefly, but I think I actually played a gnome magic user once. Prime requisite int, D4 hit dice, maximum level 14, dagger and staff. So illusionists are adventurers who study the arcane arts of illusion and deception. Through this study, they have learned to cast magic spells. Arcane magic. See Magic 110 for full details on arcane magic. Magical research. An illusionist of any level may spend time and money on magical research. This allows them to add new spells to their spell book and to research other magical effects. 9th level, they can create magic items. Spell casting. They carry spell books as well. Using magic items. Optionally, illusionists may be allowed to wield a staff in combat, which is something the magic user can't do, but the mage in the crawler ezine can, which is definitely Gandalf. Hey, good morning, Mike. Well, good to see you. After reaching 11th level, you build a stronghold and get apprentices. Okay, let's look at the knight. The knight's always a sort of controversial inclusion, different kind of inclusion, because knighthood can mean different things in different kinds of settings. And so, you know, we've talked about the relationship between the fighter and the knight, perhaps having the knight as a class that your fighter can obtain, kind of like in Hackmaster. But here, okay, knight is actually its own class. So requirements: minimum con 9, a minimum dex 9, strength prerequisite, D8 hit die, maximum level 14, chainmail, plate mail, and shields, weapon, melee weapons, alignment in common. So knights are warriors who serve a noble house or knightly order, carrying out their liege's command and upholding the honor of the liege at all costs. So, I mean, this is going to be the heavily armored kind of fighter specialist, right? Is there going to be a missile weapon specialist in this? Better with Bacon says, I like knight as a basic class. Now, what it says down here, well, it says, we'll get there. They are masters of heavily armored mounted combat, preferring the lance above all other weapons. Lances are often, knights are often members of the noble classes, but a person of lowlier origin may be initiated as a knight as a reward for noble deeds. So it says knights. Knights of 1st and 2nd level are known as squires and are not yet regarded as true knights. Upon reaching 3rd level, the character is knighted by their liege and gains the right to bear a coat of arms, typically emblazoned upon the knight's shield. So this has the idea that you don't get all of your powers until 3rd level. You're still, but we don't see that so much for the other classes. This class makes it explicit that, okay, you're still in training at 1st and 2nd level. This is the only one that we've looked at that I've seen that. But that's even, even in 5th edition, kind of people are like, you don't really get all of your powers until, start being what you are until 3rd level. This is interesting. This codifies it. So the knight must have the same alignment as their liege. Chivalric code: knights are bound by a stringent code of honor, which they strive to uphold in all their deeds. A knight may not earn any experience points for deeds performed at odds with this code. The fundamentals of this code are preference of death over dishonor, service to the knight's liege as the greatest honor, glory in a single combat, defense to the death of any of the knight's charge, honoring of superiors, respecting of equals, demanding obedience from inferiors, and scorning the ignoble. Dishonor: a knight who brings dishonor upon themselves or their liege, this may include changing alignment, may have their knighthood revoked. In this case, the character becomes a fighter of equivalent level. This is kind of like paladin paladin light in some cases. The character becomes a fighter of equivalent level. It may be possible to regain the status of knighthood by performing a special quest. I mean, I think this is why knights. I mean, I'm liking this, but it sometimes runs askew of or counter to some of the things that happen in other classes. This one has the idea about being a squire until 3rd level. And then also, is this the first one that we've read where it can talk about basically downgrading your class, going from knight to fighter? We didn't see anything about going the other way. We didn't see anything about getting knighted. Of course, also knight in different settings may mean different things. I like knight actually having, being a particular type of fighter, but in some settings, it may just be a social honor, kind of like in today's world. Combat. Knights can use all melee weapons, but cannot use missile weapons. They regard these as dishonorable. They can wear any type of metal armor, but scorn non-metal armor as only suitable for peasants and villains. Prowess of arms. Knights regard armor as a symbol of prowess and status, always favor the most impressive and impervious-looking armor available. Single combat. In battle, a knight must attack the most powerful or worthy foe in single combat. A knight of 5th level or higher can train fantastic flying monsters as mounts. Oh, so you can become a flying knight. This takes 1 month. In general, a knight may train flying monsters of hit dice at most equal to the knight's level. The use and training of flying monsters as mounts is at the referee's discretion. That would make you pretty powerful. Also, probably take on some scouting roles for the party. Horsemanship, assessing steeds. Knights are expert riders and can assess the worth of any steed. We don't have a ride skill. Okay, knights are expert riders, which actually MERP does. When I was thinking, what are your basic kind of adventuring skills? We haven't seen ride come up in any of this. This allows a knight to determine whether an animal has a low average or high hit points for its type. Okay. Urging great speed. From 5th level, a knight can urge their steed to great speed, increasing its movement rate by 30 feet, 10 feet for up to 6 turns once per day. I'm not sure if we got our saving throws here. And it looks like we've got the fighters kind of Thaco here. Hospitality. A knight of 3rd level or higher can expect hospitality and aid from nobles and other knights of the same alignment and social affiliation. For example, order, religion, noble house, etc. A knight is expected to extend such hospitality in kind. Mounted combat. Knights gain +1 bonus to attack rolls when mounted. So I guess that's giving them, okay, they said they're expert riders. What exactly that means appears to be left to the game master. But here is actually a mechanical bonus for mounted combat for being such a great horseman. Strength of will. Fear. Knights are immune to all supernatural fear effects. From 3rd level, companions within 10 feet of the knight gain a +2 bonus on saving throw against fear effects, and retainers and mercenaries under the knight's command within 10 feet gain a +2 bonus to loyalty and morale. What are you thinking about this class? Is this a pretty good class? Knight class? Better with bacon? What do other people think? Knights gain +4. Now, I remember in AD&D, I did play the Cavalier. That was in the fighter handbook, right? And it had different kits. So back then you had different kits. And I did play fighter with the Cavalier kit. That was one of my most long-running characters. I believe it was a gray elf. I think he was a gray elf Cavalier. That was a fun character. I really enjoyed that character. So I enjoyed playing the knight. I mean, I play a lot of fighters. Like I said, I tend to play fighters and clerics. And particularly with one of my most long-running characters was a fighter with the Cavalier kit. Beguilement. Knights gain +4 bonus to saving throws against hold spells, charms, mind control, hypnotism, suggestion, etc. They gain +2 bonuses to saving throws against illusion and gain a saving throw. One is not normally allowed against sleep spells. Anytime a knight of 3rd level or higher wishes and has sufficient money, they can build a castle or stronghold and control the surrounding lands. The permission of the knight's liege is always required. And then at 9th level, you can become a baron or baroness. Oh, Gen Exile says Cavalier was also in the AD&D Unearthed Arcana. Okay, I don't think I had that book, and the only Unearthed Arcana I have here is the 3rd edition. I do have I've got the Complete Fighters book over here. The different. I don't remember playing with too many kits. Like just in general when we were playing AD&D. We may have done it a few times. Let me look at, I'm looking this up over here. Let's compare and contrast. Now actually, what we could do, Mike says, seems like a solid class. I like the chivalry code. I do too. I like the simplicity of OSE better with Bacon says generally, and I like the Knight as a basic class. This one's built pretty solidly. Let me see if I can find Cavalier 22. Hang on, I'll get my auxiliary camera up, actually pointing at a physical book. Let's just compare. Let's just see. I'm curious now. It's been a long time since I've taken a look at something like an AD&D class kit. And it's actually been a while since we've used the auxiliary camera like this anyway. Let's take a look. Let's compare. There's actually a lot here. How about that? I'll take this down for the moment. Oh, come on. There we go. So I got so this is the AD&D Complete Fighter's Handbook. So it says the Cavalier. The Cavalier is the ultimate mounted warrior. It did not use the word knight. It used the word Cavalier. Because there is no knight warrior kit. There was Amazon. Now, interestingly, there was Barbarian as well. There's Amazon, Barbarian, Beast Rider, Berserker, Cavalier, Gladiator, Myrmidon, Noble Warrior, Peasant Hero, Pirate Outlaw, Samurai, Savage, Swashbuckler, and Wilderness Warrior. So those were the ones that you got in the kit. It didn't use the term knight. It used Cavalier, and Noble Warrior is also very close. But interesting, we've got Amazon, Barbarian, and Beast Rider, but there was also the Barbarian's Guide, which I played out of that as well. Maybe actually we used the kit for that. But I do remember playing 2 different Barbarian characters out of the Barbarian book. Hey, great old ones. Greetings. But it says for the Cavalier is the ultimate mounted warrior of civilized cultures, especially those in the Middle Ages. Technology and outlook. In a campaign, he's the shining knight who leads his fellows on an eternal quest for truth, justice, and elimination of evil. To the world at large, he's a mighty hero. To his friends and allies, he is a staunch friend, a tireless cheerleader, and often an over-enthusiastic pain in the neck. This is a good warrior kit for paladins to take. It can be argued that paladins look something like this already, but that isn't necessarily so. Only paladins of cultures resembling medieval Europe would look like this. A paladin of a Japanese culture, a paladin of a Polynesian-like culture, and paladins of cultures resembling the late Renaissance Europe would all be very different from the Cavalier. Therefore, a paladin who wants to look every inch the Shining Knight should take the Cavalier Warrior kit. The Cavalier kit resembles the Noble Warrior, in that both are noblemen warriors, but the noble warrior is primarily interested in defending the rights and maintaining the social quo of his social class, while the Cavalier pursues loftier goals. To be a Cavalier, the character must be in any good alignment and have at least the following minimum ability scores: Strength 15, Dexterity 15, Constitution 15, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 10. those are some high minimum scores. Strength 15, dexterity 15, and constitution 15. Also must belong to the noble class in the campaign. Let's see. Fighters and paladins may be cavaliers. Rangers may not. So what is it? So secondary skills, you take groom, weapon proficiency, equipment. Must have a lance and sword from the beginning. Special benefits. The cavalier enjoys many special benefits, including at first level gets +1 to hit with a lance, for which he has proficiency. When using the lance from horseback, this goes up +1 every 6 experience levels. At third level, he gets a +1 to hit with any type of one type of sword, his choice from among those he has proficiency with, and goes up every 6 levels. I remember doing this table, having this table of all of my to hit rolls when I played this class. 5th level, you get +1 to hit with either the horseman's mace, horseman's flail, or horseman's pick. The pluses to hit do not add damage. Immune to the fear spell. Look, we got that right here. Because he is so brave, he inspires others to courage, and so while he is fighting, he actually radiates his emotion spell, an emotion spell in 10-foot radius. This emotion spell radiates courage. See the write-up for the 4th level wizard spell, but only to the extent that it negates fear. It does not bestow the berserk fury that the actual wizard spell provides. Cavalier +4 save to all magic which would affect his mind, and gives a list. He does start play with a horse. +3. Yeah, so this is, I'm sure this probably was inspiring what was here in OSE. Cavalier gains +3 reactions from anyone of his own culture, except criminals and etc. And finally, the Cavalier has the right to demand shelter when he travels. But special hindrances, there are quite a few. Cannot attack an opponent at range. He instead must charge ahead and attack him in melee or jousting combat. He must attack any enemy who is the biggest and most powerful looking. If he's held up by lesser troops, he must dispatch them as quickly as possible and then get to his real opponent. He must always have the highest quality armor he can afford, and that he cares more about, the actual metal than the magic bonuses, which I think is something also with paladins. Chivalric code and stuff about breaking that code as well. Of the demi-human races, only elves and half-elves may be cavaliers. I don't think my character was a half-elf. I think he was a gray elf. Anyway, okay, so that's kind of also a nostalgic look here at what might have inspired that. If you're just coming in, for some reason, my main camera wasn't connecting today, so that's why I don't have a camera right now. Let's see. Okay, so magic user. This is one of the ones we looked at probably originally when we looked at the original basic OSE. Oh, now here's, okay, how do we contrast that with Paladin? So let's take a look at Paladin. Minimum charisma 9, prime requisite strength and wisdom, hit die D8, maximum level 14, armor any. Now, armor any, including shields. So that was not the case with the Cavalier, because the Cavalier didn't say any. It said it specifically did not have leather listed. I'm right about that, right? So yeah, it didn't even allow you to use leather armor. The Paladin, interestingly, can. Okay, paladins are warriors sworn by sacred oath to the service of a lawful holy order. Alignment. A paladin must be lawful. If a character's alignment ever changes for any reason, they lose all class abilities and become a fighter of the same level. So we do have the same idea about sort of dropping back to fighter. The referee may allow the character to perform a quest of atonement in order to regain their status as paladin. Better with Bacon says, I've never liked class choice being locked behind ability scores. Humans are incredibly flexible. If you want to be a knight, nobility notwithstanding, you can train to be a knight. I wonder, or you could interpret this so like requirements minimum charisma 9. Maybe it's difficult to have the idea of charisma here, but if you're talking about like the strength, maybe you can interpret like, hey, you've been training to be a fighter, and therefore you have that level of strength. But we've talked about this here. Let's see. Better with Bacon says the same is true of all abilities. Humans can train their intellectual and condition and train their intellect and condition their bodies at virtually any age. There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, we've talked about like when people sit down to play. I also, from the game standpoint, I want them to be able to play the kind of character they want to play. Somebody on Reddit was talking about how many characters they had to roll up. They were using a script to do it, of course, in order to figure out like what the percentage chance that you could be any particular class. And the paladin was extremely rare. I think this was an AD&D kind of thing. So if you rolled the stats necessary to be a paladin, boy, you'd better play one because that probably is going to be your only chance. And I don't really like that's enforcing rarity. That's enforcing rarity of the class, even among the PCs. And of course, okay, the class is supposed to be rare in the game world. Should it necessarily be rare among the PCs? If you're rolling 3d6 straight down and you have some pretty strict ability score requirements, they can be. But on the other hand, how often do you get to play? This is my argument. How often do you get to play? If you sit down to play, I want you to be playing the kind of thing that you want to play. It does. We can see, right. It just gets in the way of allowing players to play what they want to play. That's exactly what I was just, yeah, that's exactly where I was going. If you've got time at the table and you really, really want to play an X, okay, I want you to be able to play that. Better with Bacon says, I'm attempting to develop a system that standardizes stats. It's early, but I think it's doable. So, okay, so we got strength and wisdom as our prime stats, all types of weapons and armor. I don't see anything here yet about missile weapons. Holy symbol. A paladin must carry a holy symbol. Deities disfavor. Paladins must be faithful tenants to their alignment and religion. Paladins who fall from favor with their deity may incur penalties. Spellcasting. From 9th level, a paladin may pray to receive spells. The power and number of spells available to a paladin are determined by the character's experience level. The list of spells available to a paladin is found on page 116. It's the same list as the clerics. Paladins are immune to all disease. I remember that in AD&D. Laying on of hands. Once per day, a paladin can heal 2 points per level by laying their hands on wounded characters. Additionally, a paladin of 5th level or higher may cure disease once per week by laying on hands. Very AD&D-like. Turning the undead. Paladins of 3rd level or higher can invoke the power of their deity to repel undead monsters encountered. To turn the undead, the player rolls 2d6 and then consult this table with the option of turning destroyed and then turning them or destroying them. After reaching 9th level, with the permission of their holy order, a paladin can build a stronghold or castle to control the surrounding lands and may become a barony. A paladin may keep a total of only 1 suit of magical armor, 1 magical shield, and 1 magical melee weapon. They must donate 10% of all income to lawful religious institutions. I remember that as well. A paladin of 9th level. Okay, now here. Okay, the warhorse. A paladin of 4th level or higher may summon a holy charger, a warhorse with AC 5, 5+5 hit die, and a movement rate of 180 feet, 60 feet. If the horse dies, another may not be summoned for 10 years. I take it that this is not summon a bull, as in, what does the paladin do with a horse when they're going into a dungeon? Well, they have to leave it outside. In sort of video game fashion, I remember with World of Warcraft, of course, you were actually, summoned. I think this is like calling one mount one time, and then it's this physical thing that's with you. It's not summonable. and then you can, dispatch it like you can in World of Warcraft. Some of the was third edition like that, or was that to fifth to fourth edition? Where like, hey, this kind of a downer to have this horse following you around. Let's make it summonable and dismissible instantly. I don't like that. So this does sound like something you're definitely going to have an attachment with. You get a free holy charger. Great Old One says, since I'm old, when I started playing, I played the role I rolled up. I may not play exactly what I wanted to, but I played the role I was best suited for. That was part of the game. And if you also, are you going to have a stable of characters, and are you playing quite a bit? If you're able to have a stable of characters, that also does change things. Matt says you can take 2 ability scores off one start and add them to another to get the character class you want. Oh yeah, in this one you can. That's right. There were some restrictions on that, which you could take down. So if you rolled really well on one stat but really wanted to play something else, you can modify it with some limitations. Mike says with Better with Bacon, D&D does not account, nor has it ever really that I recall, for conditioning or strength or other attributes. Conditioning of strength or other attributes. I think really the 5th edition was the first one to kind of account for that, I think. Oh, well, Great Old One's going to the AD&D DMG. I can reach back here and grab it too if you get a page number. But I remember that being talked about in 5th edition because you get to improve your ability scores every however many levels it was. You can take a feat or improve your ability scores, and a lot of times people would take feats anyway. But I remember that being like this the first time that D&D has acknowledged that going into dungeons and swinging swords all day could actually make you stronger as you progress in your career. But if you find it, Great Old Ones, we'll take a look at it. I also remember, I'd have to compare this. Let's see. Okay, you start at level 3 being able to do this. The cleric can do this at level 1. Oh, really? It's well, no, I do have the 2nd edition. Is this the 1st edition or the 2nd edition? Let me grab mine. Let's see. It's probably a different book. Yeah, well, let's see. Ability scores. Well, mine has ability scores, alternate methods of generating ability scores. Dealing with hopeless characters and such. Yeah. Oh, under the effects of aging. I do remember there being aging rules. Let me see if I can find that. Well, hey, is there an index? Aging. 32 and 33. Let's see. Beginning level characters. Pre-rolled characters. Wait, I actually don't see that. High level characters. Retirement. I don't think we ever used the aging rules, but I do remember seeing them. So, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, okay. I do remember there being aging rules. Never used them though. D&D aging rules normally took physical attributes and gave you intelligence and wisdom For example, Great Old One says, mature, add 1 point to strength, add 1 point of wisdom. So I wonder how, one thing going back to the paladin here, I'm wondering is how they balance the paladin here with the undead turning of the cleric. Because, okay, the paladin doesn't start turning undead until 3rd level, but the cleric can at the very beginning. And I kind of remember the paladin not doing that all that often. What I wanted, let's look. Let me write this down. There we go, paladin. So for instance, at level 3, the paladin can turn at first level or 1 HD monsters at 7, 2 at 9, and then what is 2 star? 2 star, 2 HD monsters with a special ability. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, 7 and 9 and 11 and 2 star. So the cleric the reason the paladin, I remember the paladin never really did that all that often in the games is because the cleric was there and the cleric was just better at it. So if you didn't have a cleric, then that was a good ability for the paladin to have, but he was behind. Come on, drought. Okay, cleric, here we go. So at turning, okay, yeah, see, at level 1, the cleric is 7, 9, 11. And at level 3, okay, so it's always 7, 9, 11. We just start adding things. So at level 3 for the cleric, level 1 and 2 hit die monsters are automatically turned. So it does seem like, so by the time assuming everybody's kind of leveling up at the same route. Now, of course, if you have a high level paladin, he could be better than the cleric, but it seems like if you're sitting there with a 3rd level party, the cleric is just better. So that ability has always kind of been questionable to me, because the 2 star, yeah, I mean, if maybe they can both roll for it and the paladin's got a chance, but really the cleric is auto turning things at level 3. How has that worked in your games? Thank you. Yes, thank you. In D&D 3.5, aging effect scores were as follows: middle age, -1 strength, dex, constitution, +1 int, wisdom, and charisma. Old, -2 strength, dex, con, +1 int, wisdom, and charisma, stacks with middle age. Oh, venerable, -3 strength, dex, and con, +1 int, wisdom, stacks with old and middle age. For humans, that occurs at 35, 53, and 70. In 1st edition and 2nd edition, you would also lose charisma. Yeah, you're gaining it in 3.5. Huh. Well, let's see. Let's go down and finish the oh, the thief. We've talked about the thief quite a bit. Let's see. Okay. Oh, ranger we're adding in. Okay, so ranger we do have here as well. Rangers are members of a secret society which protect their native lands from invasion and the influence of chaos. They are skilled warriors who adapted to life in the wilds. At higher levels, their connection with nature grants them the ability to cast spells. Alignment. As protectors, rangers may be lawful or neutral. If a ranger ever changes alignment to chaotic, they lose all special class abilities. So awareness. Rangers are only surprised on the roll of a 1 This may mean that the ranger is able to act on the surprise round while their companions are surprised. Combat says rangers can use all types of weapons and can use leather armor, chainmail, and shields. Because of their need for stealth, they cannot use plate. Oh, see you later, Mike. Yep, see you Sunday. Maybe with a camera. Divine magic. So they also have divine magic. Spell casting from 8th level due to a deep connection with nature. A ranger gains the ability to cast spells. The power and number of spells available to the ranger are determined by the character's experience level. The list of spells available to the ranger is found on page 117. It's the druid spell list. A party with a ranger succeeds at foraging at 2 and 6 chances and finds prey when hunting at 5 and 6. It was the druid. If the druid's with you, you can't get lost. See how much time we need some. Well, we do. He says go to wilderness adventures. Okay, I clicked on it and it took me there. I would like to know. Okay, foraging. Foraging for herbs, fruits, and nuts, etc., can be formed alongside normal movement. The party has a 1 in 6 chance per day of finding enough food for 1d6 human-sized beings. Okay, but hunting, I was wondering the time expenditure. That's exactly what I was wondering about. Hunting may be engaged in as the sole activity for the day. No traveling or resting is possible. When hunting, there's a 1 in 6 chance of encountering animals which may be suitable for eating if they can be caught. This is in addition to the normal chance of random encounters. Okay, well, there's only a 1 in 6 chance of encountering animals which may be suitable for eating, and you got to take the entire day. But now for the ranger, then, I'm still taking that's 1d6, finding enough for 1d6 human-sized beings. But anybody can do that as they walk. Ranger. Okay, but they succeed. Okay, but so they only boosted them up by 1. A party with a ranger succeeds at foraging in a 2 in 6 chance, up from a 1 in 6 chance, and finding enough to find that's not something that can be relied upon, and finds prey when hunting with a 5 in 6 chance. So so that's a huge increase in hunting. What was the advantage of hunting? So a 2 in 6 chance of finding enough for 1d6 people as you forage. So what's the advantage there is that so why bring food with you? Because you only have a 2. If you've got the ranger, you only have a 2 in 6 chance of being able to feed 1d6 people. So yes, food would be good. A ranger may only keep wealth and possessions that can be kept on their person or mount. Excess must be donated to worthy causes and not other PCs. When a ranger's party pursues an opposing group in the wilderness, the chance of evasion is reduced by 10%. In the wilderness, a ranger has 3 in 6 chance of going unnoticed when sneaking up on a target. If the ranger goes unnoticed, the target may be surprised. They start getting first level spells at level 8. Oh, tracking. Rangers can identify the following tracks. This skill improves as the character gains level. See the table to the right. Okay, here's our tracking table right here. Success may be modified. So there's a percentage chance. Modifiers for hard or soft ground, group of size being tracked, passing through an area where other tracks mingle, age of tracks, rainfall, efforts made to hide tracks. And then at 10th level, you get followers. 2d12 of them. So what is this? This is, Deep Gnome. Svirnif Eblin. Svirnifeblin. Svifneblin. I'm not sure. So, so it's a deep gnome. Short, thick-set demi-humans with long noses and gnarled, hairless gray skin. The deep gnomes, we'll call them that, are subterranean cousins of the gnomes who live close to the surface. They are skilled tunnelers and make mechanical contraptions and stunning secret doors. They love gems above all else and excavate their communities around veins of precious stone. blend into stone. Combat, use all types of weapons and armor. Cannot use longbows or two-handed swords. Illusion resistance. Light sensitivity. Speak with earth elementals. Because of their connection with earth elementals, 1d3 16 HD earth elementals will live in the rocks around the stronghold. That's pretty cool. Thief, we talked about the thief rather extensively. All right, and that takes us to character races. Okay, so that I guess we will look at on Sunday. Also, hopefully we'll be talking about some of the stuff that's on the revised version of the Kickstarter page. So I am going to sit here and work on that like I have been basically all the time I've been sitting here and working. So I really appreciate everybody being with me this morning. I'm sorry for the technical problem with the camera, but we had a great conversation anyway. This was really good. I enjoyed talking about the Knight and the Paladin. So, all right, I am going to get to work. Tonight on the Cultist channel, Brianna's director's commentary on, I think, episode 7 appears. So that'll be going up. Also, I'm making one of the things that I wanted to make for the Cultist channel was I talked about the reference to True Detective, and I pulled a screen capture and all of that for the prop that we replicated from True Detective. And I talked about that in my producer's commentary, and I'm also going to clip that and make its own standalone kind of video. So that may be going out, I don't know, sometime soon, sooner than it is that I will be talking about episode 6 in 6 weeks. So, Better with Bacon. See you all Sunday and possibly this afternoon. Oh, Bacon's going to be live this afternoon for a live stream about PvP in RPGs. Okay. All right. So, yes, please do. So the link is in the Discord. Yep, that would be great. That's a very interesting conversation. So if I am sitting here at the computer, I may have to leave this afternoon for a little bit. But if I'm here at the computer, I will join y'all. All right. See you later, everybody. Go forth, be constructive, and be creative.